Module 6, captions, carousels, and AI visuals. This is anything for reel covers, stories too as well, how to build out your carousels as well as thumbnails. So we're going to teach you in this lesson captions that actually match your content, carousel structure, visuals, as I mentioned, reel covers, story backgrounds, carousels. Now, whenever you're posting a reel or a story, you want to make sure that the visuals are brilliant. And especially now with AI, there's no excuse whatsoever. You're going to be pushed aside because so many people are turning to these AI visuals that are a lot easier on the eye and they look a lot better. So you need to be using them, especially when you're posting a reel. You can put a thumbnail on top, and that thumbnail has to be super sexy and visually attractive so people want to actually click it. Make sure it looks great. Also with the text at the bottom. If you're posting stories, you know, with just bog standard imagery in the background, it's quite boring. You can make all of this very, very easy with other AI tools. This is not with ChatGPT. You plan it with GPT. Then I'm also going to show you a couple of companies that you can use to then go out and build really, really high level end content. So captions, talk first, AI polishes, as I keep saying again and again. I've just recorded a reel about topic. Here's roughly what I said. Ideally, I would actually not put that in. If you can, I would put the reel itself and the audio itself within there. Like, here's the reel that I've recorded. Please have a quick look and then write me a caption that have a strong first line to hook people, are short, punchy, and easy to read. End with one clear CTA. So if you feed all of the content that you've had, be careful. If it's over, I think it's 500 megabytes, then you won't be able to, but that's a really heavy file, okay? But if you've just got a recording from your phone, throw that in so it knows what you're talking about, and then get it to give you the caption. And now we're going to go through. It'll also build the thumbnail and everything else that you need for it to do. Then you can just pick one. Like, this sounds so cringy. This happens quite a lot, cringe. Rewrite it in a more simple and direct way. So then once you've got your caption, then you just need to ask it to then turn it into a carousel. Or if you've already asked it to turn it into a carousel, then just ask it to build you the visuals. And it's very easy. Turn this reel into a 7-slide Instagram carousel, and it will tell you exactly how to do it, what to put on each of the carousels, because it might seem obvious to you, but you want that person to keep going through the carousels. So the AI is going to tell you what's the best thing to put on each one of them. So you're not going to have to think, you can just do. Then the AI visuals, you know, a lot of carousels are just like, let's say, black background with writing on top, but it doesn't have to be that way. Stories, when you put text, could be black background, but you can change it around. But with the thumbnails, I really like using imagine.art. You've got the link below. If you go to the end of the course, you've got it in there in the bonus one. This is a really good one right now that I like to use to build thumbnails, whatever I'm doing. So you're just going to start with an original photo, or you can literally just give the prompt, ask GPT to give you a prompt to make a specific image. Then you're going to use imagine.art or similar, whichever one you kind of want. There's so many of them out there at the moment. You can upload the original image, or you can just use a prompt. But if you do put in the original image, you're going to need a prompt in there as well to tell it what to do. But if you don't have the original image, don't worry. Just tell it what you want in the prompt. And these are really important when it's a different type of prompt when you're trying to get the image, okay? So when I'm talking about how to speak to ChatGPT, and you can just go back and forth and kind of have a conversation, when you're building images or videos in AI, it has to be, you've got to think of a photographer. So a photographer breaks it down into like lens, lighting, this like shading, color. There's so many different things to break it down into. So here's a very basic one, but ideally what you want to be doing is, once you've got your reel or carousels and you've got everything else that you need, ask it to build you a prompt, breaking down as a photographer would, to then give it and tell the company, tell GPT what company you're using. And then it will show you something like this, like ultra realistic photo of you, 50mm lens, cinematographic lighting, Instagram thumbnail style, realistic skin. Now, before you freak out and you say that I don't have any idea what any of this means, me and you are in the similar boat. Well, I was in the similar boat like a year or two ago, because I wasn't a photographer. I paid people to take photos of me, and I paid people to do the editing for me. I never really had to do that myself because I never needed to, you know. But now I don't need to know how to become a photographer. I just need to know how to tell AI to become a photographer. So when it's giving me the prompt, it will give you all these words, you know, ultra realistic, because if you don't, it's then going to look like AI. You know, if it's 30mm lens, then you're going to give you the wrong size, the wrong image, cinematic lighting, etc. So make sure whenever you are creating the final image or the final reel itself, not the planning, the actual visual image to image or whatever you're making, the prompt is very different that you have to add in. But don't think about it. Just ask ChatGPT to do it. I was actually speaking not too long ago with somebody who works with the likes of like Lamborghini, Nike. They've got a huge digital marketing company. And he was mentioning the best way that he does it, because he's in exactly the same boat as me, is what he did is he found an identical image or another video that was very, very similar to what he wanted to produce with AI. So put that image or put that reel video into the AI and say, dissect this for me and give me exactly what is in this video as a professional photographer would do. And then it broke it down into like 15 different parts that I never even knew existed in kind of photography. 15 different parts. And then from that, be like, right, then add that into a file and say, whenever you recommend me to, you know, when I need a prompt to build an image with AI, always use these 15 things to then train the other AI to give me the best possible image, okay? So try it as well. Just get a random image of yourself, put it into ChatGPT, and then ask it to dissect it as a professional photographer would do. And it will go through like lighting, shot, lens, everything. It'll go through all of that for you. And you'll be able to educate yourself on really how to produce extremely high quality images. So use these upgraded images, as I mentioned, as thumbnails, reel covers, story backgrounds, hero images, and carousels. You can also use them on the website. You can use them anywhere. You know, I'm talking about social media here, but you should always be saving all of your content, all of your videos and everything in a drive somewhere, because you might need them in the future. You might not necessarily need them now, because normally when you produce images, you're not going to get the best image straight away. You know, not even the best people in the world right now can get an exact image instantly. Like Red Bull recently brought out a video, and the same person who I just mentioned then was explaining to me, it took them over 600 edits to get the video correct. And it was only like a 10-second video that they're doing. So you can understand this can take a little bit of time. Hence the reason I'm not going to dive into this, because this can be much more complicated. I can, if everyone wants, let me know via the company Instagram, goso.io, or let me know on my personal Instagram, Chris Barley with double S, and I will build that course specifically for anyone who really wants it. But the rest of the time, you can just go in and play around with it yourself. You can use the sites I mentioned. There's Free Pick is another one, which is really good. Action steps on this one. Like, use AI to write your captions for the next 2 reels. Turn one reel idea into a carousel using AI-generated slide. This is going to take you a little bit of time, but like, you've got to get used to it. If you want to become successful on social media, this is where it's going. It's going to the AI-generated images sometimes. So you've got to learn this. Then create one AI upgraded image from a real person and use it as a reel cover or whatever you want. You can literally take a headshot of yourself, add it in there, and it just makes it look better. You know, it's a really good idea to do. So that's what I want you to do after this module. As you can already see at the bottom, we'll move on to module 7 in a minute. Looking forward to seeing you there.